In terms of the issues having to do with quality of life in the survey, conducted by Environics Institute on behalf of the Institute on Governance, the interesting part for me, having spent my entire life in the public service and serving government, is that Canadians actually find value in government. They see it by and large as a force for good, and they link some interesting things in terms of quality of life. They link the issues of fairness and equality, which are long-held traditional Canadian values, but they also start to introduce the notion of modernizing government. And the issues that they emphasize there, I think could best be described in terms of issues of effectiveness and efficiency. And possibly that's the area where they're looking for the most experimentation on the part of governments. Most Canadians think that government is a good thing, or a force for good in society, again emphasizing some of those traditional Canadian values, which may start with peace, order, and good government. They are, however, hoping for greater experimentation on the parts of governments in the area of how government is modernizing its own operations. There's commentary that you can read into in terms of how they view public-private partnerships. Yes, proceed, but have a good business case for why you're making the changes you are. They also signal issues around privacy and security of information. And they're not holding up red flags on those points. What they're saying is, ensure the security of my information, ensure my privacy, but for heaven's sakes, allow me to transact my affairs with government in a more holistic fashion. So that would imply that they're fully understanding that there are trade-offs between how that information gets shared in the interest of serving them better. Trust is one of those issues that comes up again and again and again in the survey, in the views of Canadians and how they trust their institutions, which institutional players they trust more, which ones they think should pull up their socks. So in that process, one of the areas that we have been spending a lot of our research effort at the Institute on Governance, even outside of the survey with the Environics Institute, is the whole issue of digital technology. I think that we have not yet fully grasped the cumulative impact on trust and on the workings of governance of the digital technologies on our governance continuum and our institutions of governance. So I think that in the soul searching that has to go on for all those institutions, we have to work individually and then collectively to better understand the impacts of those digital technologies on the pressures that are being put in our institutions so that we can continue to evolve in what historically, in over 1,000 years, has been a very resilient system of Westminster.